You're tired of hearing it, right? The same old empty advice. Just think positive, drink more water, do your 8 hours. It's all well intentioned, but when you're struggling in the trenches of depression or anxiety, it feels completely hollow. It's a bit like when you've got a cold being told, just cheer up. Unbreakable mental strength isn't about slapping a motivational quote on everything. It's about strategy, not just sentiment. As a 40-year-old man, I've been through periods of serious illness, depression, and a crushing lack of self-worth when I was really sick. I can tell you what we're often told about mental health is it's a battle of emotions. But what if it's also a game of tactics, like a sport? What if the things that truly move the needle aren't obvious service level tips, the ones you've heard 1,000 times? Today, we're diving into 7 science-backed, non-obvious strategies that actually work. These aren't quick fixes, they're fundamental shifts in how you operate. These are the tools, not just temporary relief. So if you're ready to stop building something real, stay with me. So, non-obvious tip number 1, master the mind-body connection. Let's start with a concept that might seem a bit woo-woo and a bit out there, but it's intensely practical. The mind-body connection. For me, it isn't just there. Living with ulcerative colitis myself, which is a gut disease, I learned firsthand that the gut and the brain are in constant communication. That's why kombucha, all of the stuff that's out now is there. We're not just talking about meditating your problems away. We're talking about using your body as a diagnostic tool. Your body often knows you're struggling long before your conscious mind is ready to even admit it, especially if you're in the middle of an important bit of work or a project. Think about it. The tension in your shoulders, those persistent headaches, if you get them, the gut issues, often they have no clear medical cause. And they aren't just random things. They're physical SOS signals that your body is sending to your brain. We've been taught to think of the mind and body as 2 separate things, but they're constantly talking. Chronic stress floods your hormones, like cortisol. It can mess with everything from your immune system to your heart health. For me, stress could directly trigger a colitis flare-up and a hospital visit, proving that the link just isn't only in my head. So the non-obvious fix isn't just to exercise more, it's to listen to your body. Instead of pushing through physical discomfort, pause and ask yourself, what is this feeling trying to tell me? That knot in your stomach before a big meeting, it isn't just indigestion. It's a data point about how you're feeling, your stress levels. If you get that bone-deep exhaustion, the sleep could never fix. It might be emotional burnout, not just physical fatigue. The move here is to practice what we call somatic awareness. It's really simple. A few times a day, just pause. Do a quick scan. Where do you feel tense? Where are you holding your tension? I feel, personally, how stress tightens my legs. You might have something else. Noticing that is the first crucial step. And the practice shifts you from being a passenger in a body that's acting up to being a pilot who can actually read the instrument panel. By understanding these signals, you can deal with the mental stressors before they become full-blown crisis. Non-obvious tip number 2 is to do a 60-second check-in. So you and I probably schedule meetings for work, appointments for our car, nights out with our other half. But our physical health is always left to last. When was the last time you scheduled a meeting for yourself? The second non-obvious tip is to run a mental health check-in. And the best part is it only takes 60 seconds. It's not about some deep, hour-long journaling session. It's a quick tactical assessment. It's about building the simple habit of self-awareness so you can spot negative patterns before they become something bigger. Having navigated periods of depression, I know how easily a bad day can turn into something much worse. This stops the small issues from silently becoming much more. And here's how you do it. Once a day, maybe while your coffee's brewing, or if you prefer tea, that's fine too, or before you get out of the car. Ask yourself these 3 questions. First, ask your mind, what's taking up my headspace right now? Just name it, whatever it is. Work, project, a nagging worry, whatever it is. Second, mood. What is the dominant emotion I am feeling right now? Is it frustration? Is it anxiety? Is it contentment? Is it something else? And then third, the body. Where am I feeling this? Like we just talked about, the magic isn't about finding an immediate solution. The magic is in the consistent act of looking and looking after yourself. It steps you from running on autopilot and makes you aware of your own internal well-being. Over time, you'll start seeing connections. Every time I worry about money, my neck gets tight. This is the level of awareness that will help you build change into your plan and allow you to step in early, build the resilience, and change you from being proactive instead of reactive when you feel stressed. Unobvious tip number 3 is to navigate the hidden trauma of physical injury. This one is critical, but it almost always gets ignored in mental health conversations because we think of them as two separate things. The massive psychological fallout from a long physical illness or an injury, or receiving a diagnosis for a chronic condition like I did, ulcerative colitis, it's not just a physical event, it's a psychological bomb that can open the door to feelings of depression. Why? It might even be the grief of losing a loved one. When your body is impacted by the illness, the injury, or the passing of someone, it changes your day-to-day life. You can lose your routine, your social life, and even a core piece of your identity. You see, I went from being a guy who could do anything to someone who has to calculate the energy cost of every action when I was really sick. And that is a deep blow because I just didn't feel great. I felt angry, frustrated, hopeless. On top of that, poor mental health can actually slow down your physical recovery or even worsen your symptoms. So the non-obvious fix is to treat your mental recovery with the same seriousness as your physical treatment. You need a mental recovery plan just as much as a physical one. And it all starts with acknowledging the feelings that you got, the anger, the grief, and frustration you might feel. They're all valid responses to what you've gone through. So what does it look like? First, actively work to stay connected with your friends and family. Even when it's tough, isolation is a huge risk factor. Second, find a new sense of purpose. Even if it's a temporary one that isn't tied to what you can physically do right now. Maybe you go online and learn a new skill, or maybe you help someone else out by mentoring. Third, the big one is to get professional help if you need it. Talking to a therapist during a health crisis isn't a sign of weakness. It's a strategic move to make sure your mind heals along with your body, which ultimately helps you navigate your own reality with strength and confidence. Non-obvious tip number 4 is to switch from passive to active social media use. The advice that you hear out there is quit social media. And let's be real, that's not happening for most of us. And it's not always necessary. The more effective approach in many instances is to change how you consume social media. Shift is to shift from being a passive to an active participant. And research backed by science draws two very clear lines between this. Mindlessly scrolling your feeds, watching random videos, and just consuming whatever it is other people post is consistently linked with worse mental health. And the reason for that is it drags you into a social comparison trap, sparking envy and loneliness. If you're already feeling low or limited by something, looking at everyone else's curated highlight reel, that's what it is, can make your own reality feel pretty bleak. Active use, on the other hand, is all about direct engagement. Creating things like this, having actual conversations in the direct messages, commenting with purpose, and joining groups of like-minded people. That type of stuff can actually build feelings of connection and belonging. When you use social media to connect, which is what it was meant to do, you're creating and exchanging value, not just consuming mindlessly. So, Mikey, how do you make the switch? Well, start by auditing your screen time. For 1 week, pay attention to what you're actually doing. Are you doom scrolling through feeds? Or are you messaging a friend to check in? Then, a simple rule. For every 10 minutes of passive scrolling, take 5 minutes to do something active. Send a supportive message to a friend. Share something you're proud of. Or jump into a discussion in a group that's about hobbies or interests you have. Turn social media from a success theater, you know what I'm talking about, that you watch, into a tool that you use to build actual human connection. Non-obvious tip number 5 is to build boundaries and a shield, not a wall. Build a shield, not a wall. Now, a lot of people talk about building boundaries, and you've got to build armor. The non-obvious reframe is to see boundaries as a form of mental and emotional armor. They aren't about pushing people away. They're about protecting your own internal resources so you can show up better for the people and things that matter most to you. Without boundaries, you see, you're wide open to burnout and stress. When you live with a chronic illness, as I have, your energy is so finite. It's a precious resource. So when you constantly say yes to everything, even the things that drain you, you overextend yourself, or you let other people's drama dictate your mood, you're letting that energy leak out of you. It's no surprise that people who set clear personal boundaries experience lower levels of stress. That's just the science. You see, setting a boundary is simply an act of self-respect. It's you telling yourself and the world that your time and energy are valuable. This doesn't have to be some big, thing or confrontation. A boundary can be as simple as not checking your work emails after 5, or saying, I can't make it to a social event when your energy is low. Or perhaps it's limiting conversations that are just spiraling into negativity. Ultimately, whatever you do, the best way is to start small. Pick one area of your life where you feel consistently drained. Is it a colleague who unloads their stress on you? A family member who has zero respect for your time? Start by setting one small, clear boundary. Use I statements to say calmly, like, I'm feeling pretty overwhelmed, so I'm going to step away from this right. Do expect a little pushback. Feeling guilty at first is totally normal, especially if you're a people pleaser. But remember, boundaries aren't barriers. They're what allow you to manage your energy and engage with the world from a place of strength, not emptiness, depletion, exhaustion. Non-obvious tip number 6 might be the counterintuitive tip that tops them all. Our culture is obsessed with being happy, but chasing happiness itself, especially when you're dealing with depression or physical pain, it can feel like a cruel joke. Happiness is often fleeting based on what is happening to you. Purpose, on the other hand, is a deep internal sense of meaning that you build for yourself. The non-obvious strategy for long-term mental health is to focus on purpose, even if it doesn't make you happy in the moment. Research makes a fascinating distinction here. Life focused on happiness is often about taking from the world around you. A more meaningful life, however, is about giving and contributing. Think about it. Raising kids, training for a marathon, building a career, all of these things are really hard, and they're often really stressful too. But they're overflowing with purpose. It's what makes you resilient. Studies consistently show people with a strong sense of purpose handle life's punches much better and report being more satisfied with their lives overall. Happiness is about the here and now, whereas purpose is what pulls you into the future. It's the why that gets you out of bed in the morning, even when your body or mind is screaming at you to just stay put and stay under the duvets. The paradox is chasing happiness can leave you feeling empty, while pursuing a higher purpose brings you a deeper, more lasting well-being as a side effect. So how do you go about finding this grand purpose? Well, you don't have to. It doesn't have to be some single epic mission or journey. It can be what's called a little p purpose, the daily things that make you feel engaged or that you're making a difference in the world. By asking yourself, what makes me happy, but what do I actually find meaningful? What kind of impact, however small, do you want to have? Shifting from chasing a feeling, happiness, to building something meaningful with purpose is one of the most powerful things you can do to make yourself feel better for the long term. Non-obvious tip number 7. This is about completely reframing how you think about your support system. Especially for you guys and gals my age, asking for help often feels a bit weird, like you're admitting failure. And this is a lethal mistake. The most successful people in any field, be it sports, the military, business, share. Your mental health is no different. Here's how you do it. You see, your support network is a safety net for when you fall, a strategic alliance that makes you a lot stronger. Think of it like your personal board of directors, Dragon's Den, Shark Tank, call it what you want. It can include family, friends, and yes, professionals like therapists. The science is pretty crystal clear on this. People with strong social connections have lower rates of anxiety and depression and a greater sense of purpose. Connection is a biological need. We all have it. but we have to be intentional about it. This isn't just about having some people to hang out with. It's about cultivating something meaningful, cultivating relationships with the kind of people you can be real with, who offer different points of view and who will hold you accountable. The actionable step here is to literally map out your network. Who do you want to be on your dream team? Identify the different kinds of support you need. So it might be, I want to start a business. Well, who's somebody you know who's successfully started a business? And maybe there's a family member who can help you with the practical stuff. As you go along and you map this out, you'll see gaps, especially for unbiased professional support. Actively work to fill them. When you stop seeing therapy as a place for broken people and start seeing it as a way forward or a coaching session for somebody who's a high performance athlete or artist or musician, whatever you love, the whole game changes. For me, when I did it, it was a place to get an expert's eyes on my most important asset, my mind. And building all of this using strategic lines is not a weakness. It's the most powerful move you can do to create unbreakable mental strength. So those are my 7 strategies that go way beyond the surface level fluff. They take thought, effort, and willingness to do things differently. Hit save on this so you can go through it step by step. And I want to hear from you. Which of these 7 things, the non-obvious tips, resonated with you most? Or do you have a non-obvious strategy that's worked for you in your own struggles? Drop it in the comments and below. Please do subscribe, share stuff like this all the time. And do comment below. You never know what one bit of wisdom you have could help somebody else. If you want more content that respects your intelligence, make sure you subscribe, hit that notification bell. Thank you for watching and have a wonderful day.